Hi everyone. I just want to talk about some things. Politics. Not always everyone's most preferred topic. It's not always mine because just the simple fact of how bad our politics are in the U.S. right now gives me lots of anxiety, and I wish it weren't that way. But it is that way, and we have to change it. So I'm here to talk about some things. Today is July 30th, Saturday, 2 o'clock. Time doesn't really matter. I'm just giving that for a reference point so you know when I'm currently talking about certain things. But I'd like to talk about Hillary Clinton, and I am not for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. I am for third-party candidate Libertarian Gary Johnson, former two-term. Oh, sorry, my foot's on the stool. Former two-term governor of New Mexico who ran as a Republican, who actually doesn't believe in the party system. He believes there should be no parties, which I also agree with him on that. It's not just me liking him as a candidate, it's me liking lots of his base morals and beliefs in politics. He also believes in term limits. He also, for senators and all politicians around the board, so they can't just constantly be being reelected. He also believes that there should be an open office time for the president, for anyone from the public to come in, sit down for 5 minutes. It'd be once a month for maybe 2 hours to take people in and, talk to them, which I think might not be the most realistic thing for a president, because there's lots of things the president has to deal with. He's a former governor, so he just had to deal with one state, and New Mexico is not the largest state. But it is a good sign that he wants to have, open doors to the public, and he doesn't want everything he's doing to be behind closed doors. And not that there aren't some things that should be classified or not open to the public, but I believe that it shows that he is, open to hearing problems or complaints or even good things. It doesn't have to be negative. Just because you have to talk to someone doesn't mean it has to be negative. But also, I like his tax plan a lot. It's called the fair tax, and statistically, people that earn more money spend more money, and his whole plan is to completely eliminate the IRS, which of course there'd be backlash because there's lots of IRS employees, and it's all state jobs, so of course there'd be some amount of backlash on that. But that would cut down on the budget a lot for spending money on the IRS, and there'd be a fair tax, which is across the board. I think they're talking about is either 27 to 29% tax on whatever you buy. It would basically be the same amount of taxes we're already spending. It's just you only have to get taxed when you buy things, so you can save your money up and still not get taxed. So if you're consuming, then you get taxed. But if you're not consuming, you don't get taxed. You can save your money, and then when you finally decide you want to buy your house and you've saved all your money, that's when you get taxed. So you can sit on your money, not get taxed, and which I think is also good. You kind of get benefited for actually being conservative with your money and not consuming. So, obviously we're all going to consume a certain amount, if it's food or just, all the common necessities. Okay, so that's why I'm voting for him come November. But for me, it's more about why I'm voting for him rather than why I'm not voting for the other people. And why I'm not voting for Hillary and why I'm not voting for Donald Trump is because it's not even that Donald Trump, I don't take him serious at all. And Hillary is just a flat out liar, and I don't get how people can want to vote for Hillary if it's pretty obvious that she has lied openly lied. She doesn't say it, obviously, because she's a liar, so she lied about lying. But the fact that someone like that can be even running for president is complete BS. So I think it's dumb that we're living in fear of someone like Donald Trump getting elected, when we should actually be trying to elect someone off of our base American values and having a true justice system, which Hillary Clinton has gotten through what we call a true justice system. So I would hope that people don't want to vote for her just because she's a woman. But the thing is that people are going to vote for her just because she's a woman. And I don't think it's necessarily healthy, not that there's anything wrong with a woman being president, I don't think it's necessarily healthy to have so much progress. Our country has had white male presidents for 99% of the time, or 98, whatever it is. It's close to 100%. And with Obama having 2 terms, I think it's really good. And I'm happy with some of the things that Obama did, but I don't think he followed through on a lot of things, like supporting whistleblowers and, it's a lot of things up to debate, but I don't believe that he did the best he could, but I do believe that he did better than what others could have done. What else is there? So I believe that we should be electing off for someone that is going to believe in, American-based values, and that, if you believe in American-based values of, everyone being able to have their freedoms and being able to believe in what they want, being able to speak what they want without being, imprisoned or getting in some kind of legal trouble. There is certain things you can't do and say, but those are all understood, and they should be. But people... what was I going to say? I'm sorry. I don't have a video editing program, so I would like to get one, but we'll see. I'll have to get one once I get going on this. I'd also like to do podcasts, but that's a completely different tangent and subject, and I'm sorry guys, I lost my train. But I think we should be not encouraged to vote for certain parties just because the party says so. And that's what I see a lot with, like, Bernie Sanders supporters. There's a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters that are like, Bernie or bust or whatever, but which I don't think is, I guess that's good to an extent. They have faith and they have full belief in Bernie Sanders, so they should, ride until they die, ride or die, But for a candidate to say, hey, vote for Hillary Clinton because we don't like Donald Trump, I think that's complete bullshit. Who cares if Donald Trump's running? Who cares what he says? Who cares what he does? That is his campaign, and I believe as an American, he has the right to do that. Now, should Americans be voting for him if they have, base American values just because they don't like someone else? They shouldn't be voting for him just because, oh, we don't like this person, we're going to go and vote for this person. That's not how politics should be. It should be, oh, I like this person, and I think they will do the best job, and I think they're the most qualified, and to my standards and beliefs and opinions in politics, I think they're the most qualified. Now, people say that Hillary Clinton's the most qualified because she has the most, history in politics, and Bill was in office, and she's been around politics almost her whole life. Now, that might be true that she's the most qualified, but is she morally the most qualified? No, she's not. She's a liar, and she has done things that I do not believe are constitutionally right. But is she the most qualified in the sense of politics? Yes. Is she most qualified in the sense of morals? Definitely not. Now, Donald Trump, on the other hand, is he qualified in politics? I mean, I'm sure he has his sense of, like, politics, but writing up policies and knowing the political system, I feel like I could even do an equal job, and I don't even know the vocabulary of politics. And he probably has, 50 people telling him this and that and blah, 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 blah. There's so much going on behind closed doors. He's just a puppet right now. Not that he's not in control, but I believe that he's a puppet of his own game, and he's just playing the game that he's created. So, I mean, I'm just trying to speak out for Gary Johnson because he doesn't get much publicity, and since I have the right to speak out and say, hey, this is why you should vote for him, and you should go to his website, and you should check into it, I'm doing so. So I believe that you should go and at least look. I think it's dumb for people to say, oh, this is my candidate, I'm not going to research any other candidates, I'm not going to research the Constitution Party, I'm not going to research the Green Party, I'm not going to research the Libertarian Party, I'm not going to research the Independent Party, I'm not, I'm just going to stay in my closed box of being Republican or being Democrat, or, I love how I naturally went to the right for saying Republican, and the left for saying Democrat, when it shouldn't be that. Like, that in itself is creating polarization and compartmentalization of people, which is making it more polarized in politics, and that's just not what we need right now. What we need is people in America, Americans, even if you're not American, just contributing to society in a positive way and believing in, the base values of what we have as Americans. And I think it's becoming harder and harder for people in America to actually see those values as valuable, because we only see on the news, and of course it's all filtered however they want it to be. We only see certain things in other countries, and we can't actually get that perspective and see how they live completely and feel it. It doesn't hit us emotionally, so how is it going to have any effect on us? We just, intellectually are like, oh, that's not good, that's sad, I wish I could help, but we don't help. But I don't think we have the right perspective to actually truly appreciate what we've been given. So, I mean, I think we need to get somehow some perspective to be thankful for what we do have. And, I think we're trying to progress too much. Technology has us in kind of this trance of everything's moving fast, everything needs to progress really fast. Things can't progress over time, and I think that's what we need most is time, just to slow down, breathe. Just need to breathe, people. I know this is the election year, so it's like kind of hard to breathe. It's all coming up so fast, and it's going to happen no matter what. But we still need to breathe, and we are the people, and we still have full control over this government. Even if you don't believe that, we still have control of this government, and we need to take control of it and make it our own, because right now it is not our government, and it is not owned by the people. Constitutionally, it's owned by the people, but it is not directly owned by the people, and we need to get to an actual direct democracy where the votes actually count, and there isn't an electoral college, and there isn't all this bullshit keeping us from voting who we want. There shouldn't be parties. There can be parties, but I think it's dumb that once you register as a certain party, you're only allowed to vote for that party, or vote in for certain parties that are allowed in certain states. It's not even across the board the same in every state, which I understand that each state can create its own voting laws and all its own laws, but everyone should automatically be registered to vote once you are 18. I believe that you should automatically be registered to vote. Being a male, once I turned 18 and I was applying for financial aid, they had me sign up for the selective service for if there was ever a draft. Now did they, say, hey, register to vote? No, but I was in the system. Why can't they send me something saying, hey, you know what, you're registered to vote, you can now go out and vote, blah, 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 blah. and yet they don't do that because they don't want us to vote. Now, is that kind of a conspiracy that they don't want us to vote? Yes, it is. It's also a conspiracy that our votes don't even count with all these electronics being used to count votes. There's actually lots of proof from multiple universities that these voting machines can be hacked within under 2 minutes, I believe, and can be changed massive amounts of votes. And they can actually even make votes only count as fractions or doubles. So let's say if a politician needs a certain percent of votes, 50%, 60%, whatever it might be, and they know they're only going to get a certain amount of votes off of polls and statistics, that they can say, oh, one vote for so-and-so counts as 2 votes or 3 votes. Or if they want them to have the other, the other politician that they're running against to only have a certain amount of votes, they can say, this counts as 1/5 of a vote, this counts as 1/3, 1/2, 3/4, whatever it might be, and they're stored on memory cards, which can only, you can't really trace if it's been hacked. There's no way to say, oh, this has been hacked, this is false votes. Well, the only way you can do it is take each paper ballot, count the votes, and then compare it to the machine's end results of votes. And that's likely never going to happen. And if it were to happen, it would take a very long time. But who cares if it takes a long time? Seriously, who cares if we have to spend a few $1 million on counting papers? Who cares? We spend millions, and billions of dollars on ridiculous things. I think it would be worthwhile to at least have some justice and count the votes. And even then, it's still how can that be trusted? I mean, I don't have much trust in the government right now, but that's why I believe that people need to take control. And instead of saying, this politician is going to change the country, it's not going to change the country. What's going to change the country is if we rise up, not necessarily to have a revolution, but we rise up and we take control and we make our voices heard. And we say, we want term limits. We don't want these politicians in office forever, One of the reasons I see why racism is such a big problem, not that all politicians are racist, and not that all old people are racist, but that generation from before is still alive. The baby boomers, that generation, still is alive, okay? Which creates, those morals. I have the morals of my parents. What's to say that those people don't have the morals of their parents, okay? Now, I don't completely have the morals of my parents because I'm influenced by teachers and friends and inspirational people of all kinds, friends of parents, neighbors, all kinds of people, not just people that are genetically, biologically related to me. That's not oh, it's just, nature. You just automatically, inherently have all these morals and values and opinions. But that does very much influence people, and it has been shown in psychology that people are very heavily influenced by people around them. And even in the case of someone being hurt and asking for help in society, if someone is genuinely asking for help, and let's say he's hurt or she is hurt on the sidewalk, someone, they're asking for help, those people aren't going to stop for help usually. You'd think, and everyone internally is I would be the person that would, put down my hand and help them up or whatever, get an ambulance, whatever amount of help they need, that you would be the person to ask for that help. But that's not how it is, because when you see people not helping, you tend to not help. You're just oh, everyone else is doing this, I'm just kind of going to do the same thing. And I think naturally, this is all just off of theory now, that I think naturally, we're oh, okay, so the majority of us who are alive are running off of these base instincts of, avoid, that person when, um, it's just, that's the nature of it. Um, but to break that ice and break that barrier to actually help that person, when someone does it, then multiple people reach out and actually do something. So we need people, inspirational people in this world to lead, to break the ice, to help us. It's reaching out to all of us. That's what this is. Even if we don't have the same beliefs, we need to be able to reach out, help each other, show that we have equal beliefs in having the freedom. It's about freedom, people. Although we might not be completely free to do whatever we want, we still have more freedom than anyone else in the world. So we need to use that freedom and support it in each other. I just don't, I don't know, whenever I go on any social media about any politics, it's always arguing this and that, Republicans, Democrats, blah, 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 blah. And I'm tired of it because it's all just this, them, us, them, me, I. It's like, okay, what about us? What about all of us? What are we all here to do together? Okay? Now, I'm still a young mind, and I'm still not very educated in lots of politics, or lots of anything, really. I mean, I'm educated in sense, and I have my own level of intelligence and sense of direction. But we need strong leaders to stand up. We need educated, intelligent, like-minded people, like-minded in the sense of we all believe in our freedom, not like-minded in like, oh, we're all Republicans, we all want conservative government, or we all Democrats, we all want socialized everything or something. Not even that all Democrats want socialized things, but I'm libertarian, and which I wouldn't even like to say I'm libertarian, because I'm with Gary Johnson. I don't believe in parties, but I have my base values are libertarian. Just because your base values or your opinions follow one party a majority of the time does not mean you always are going to be with that party, which is also another reason to refer back to why I think people should be able to vote for whoever they want, not regards to who they are registered under as a party. They should be able to vote for whoever they want, just automatically. So my base values are libertarian. I believe in free will. I believe that everyone should be able to do whatever they want. Okay? Gays should be able to get married. I believe people should be able to do drugs. I believe that there shouldn't be any restriction on anything. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. I believe that people should have that free will until it is affecting someone else. And not just directly affecting someone else, but if it's indirectly affecting someone else, like Bob is pouring sewage into the water, and downstream Billy or whatever is drinking the water and he's getting, sewage poisoning or whatever it might be. If it's something that sounds pretty direct, but it's still not like as direct as it could be, like someone like shooting someone else. That's obviously not a good thing. I mean, obviously, together, do not want people shooting each other. And we don't want people pouring sewage in the water. We don't want people doing all these certain things. So there is regulations. But I also believe in smaller government. And I believe that all 50 states should be able to do what they want in regards to, the Constitution, and the federal government should be there to back up the Constitution and should be there to have a national defense system. And defense, not offense. I'm tired of war and money going to war, but I believe that, sorry, my eye was twitching, it bugged me out, but I believe that each state should be able to do its own laws within regards to amendments in the Constitution and all that stuff. And I believe there should be more amendments. And we should have, this is all just theories and ideas, but like politicians should have term limits, amendments, there should be stages, or like almost like schedules, like drugs have schedules. There should be certain lengths in time, testing periods, almost like a beta for bills to work, for laws to be in effect, and to see the outcome of those laws and what could be changed, what could be amended onto that law, before it becomes, written in stone and a part of our federal government or state government forever, and becomes something that's really hard to remove. So I believe there should be, certain stages to a bill, and like after 2 years or a year, it's like, okay, so what can we do about this that can change, because this part of it's not working well, this part's working really well, how can we make it work better? It's not working for these people well because of this, it's not fair to them, it's discriminating, it's doing whatever it might be. So what can we do in that sense? I think we need some system that can effectively change itself and progressively reinstall itself in different ways, that we can reflect. Not to really, I guess, compare a person to a society or how a government operates, but it is in that sense kind of a entity or a body or a being almost, we are what runs it, it is from us, so it kind of is a sense of reflection of ourselves. So when someone has, self-progress and they become happy, it's because they have reflected on themselves and they have looked at their past, their history, they have gained knowledge from their history, their past, and they have reflected and seen what they have done wrong, what they've done right, and how they can use that in their future to progressively make themselves happier and to not make them those same mistakes, to then, avoid them in the future and make better choices. And that's what we need to do as a country, be able to reflect on our history, our mistakes, what went wrong, what went right, to use that again to progressively make things happen and not let things stay in a standstill. And to say, oh, this is better than it was before, that's good, but it can always get better. Things can always get better. Now, it's not always going to be a utopia. We're not going to live in the paradise of heaven where, everything is perfect, which we don't want to live in that anyways. There's many books. Actually, I have one right here. Kind of a utopia, but it's a controlled utopia. It's 1984. This isn't necessarily what everyone would be like, oh, I want to live there, I want to be under this oppressive government of Big Brother, but it is what is potentially going to happen if we don't take control in 1984. But it's also what we want to go towards, in a sense of always trying to perfect. Now we're not going to be in a controlled utopia, and there's always going to be uprisings, there's always going to be someone that says no, or yes, or wants to revolt, or disagrees. But we need to live in a world where it's okay to disagree, and it's okay to have your opinion. That's what we need to understand. It's okay to have your opinion. I'm tired of people arguing, saying your opinion's wrong, blah, 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 and they don't respect someone's opinion. They automatically, like I've had friends on Facebook that they post something, like there was a picture of a so-called liberal on a bike, and it said, what liberals do to themselves, or something. And it had a girl riding a bike with throwing a stick into her spokes. And commented on the photo saying, well, isn't that what Donald Trump wants to do? Or isn't that what some people believe that Donald Trump is going to do to the system? You know, is going to throw a stick into the spokes, which is going to choke it up and make things happen, make, like, you know, progress. Which, then my friend on Facebook replied, you know, you don't have to be biased and against Donald Trump just because I support Donald Trump. I don't want to argue about it. And I was like, whoa, you know, like, I didn't even know you supported Donald Trump, for one, and for two, I'm not like trying to be offended. I'm just saying, isn't that what people believe that Donald Trump's going to do? Like, not necessarily that he's going to screw up himself, but that he's going to, as if the bicycle were the system, going to make it derail a little bit or a lot to create some kind of reform and then progress. But then, of course, my friend went on to argue, and then blah 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 blah, social media, you know. So that's what I think one of the biggest things is everyone's saying they know. Oh, we know. It's like, it's your belief. We can all have beliefs and then agree on something in the middle, agree on it, make compromises to at least see what progress happens. And then when there is progress, and if you don't necessarily believe in it, you know, believe in the way that you got there, but if you can see the progress, being able to adjust your opinions and your beliefs and be like, oh, well, this is actually working, this is progressive, this is good for people, this isn't discriminating, this isn't bad, let's move further in that direction and let's see what happens, okay? There's a lot of things like that, so I don't want to make this video go on too long, and I'm kind of just yip yapping. But I'd like to create more videos, and this one's long over 30 minutes, which is going to take a long time to upload, and I don't have a video editing thing, so I can't really get clips of what I really wanted to say, but this is my first attempt, so, I mean, you can critique me, whatever you want, disagree, comment. That's all it's about. I just want to get my word out there. That's what it's about, is getting my word out there to other people, for them to get further in what they see this country doing, what they want to do with this country, what we all want to do with this country. And it's all about debate and conversation, and debate is a lot different than, you know, hostile, like, dispute, or, you know, what we would call, like, a heated argument. So this is all about dispute and democracy, and if you agree or don't, feel free to leave comments below. I will hopefully I have said this many times, I will hopefully be making more videos, but with school and work and everything else, I don't always know what my schedule looks like. But I want to do at least, you know, a 15-20 minute video on something. Doesn't necessarily have to be politics, but even if there's comments or tweets or whatever it might be about certain things that I could reply to and talk about, it would be awesome. I might not be as educated as I want to be, and I want to sound as I am, or sound like I am educated in certain things, but I would still like to talk about things, and that's how you become more educated, is talking about them and trying to understand them. So, you know, feel free to comment, have a reply video, whatever it might be. Thank you for watching. If you actually got through 34 minutes of this, I would be really surprised. But hopefully I'll be trying to get some video editing software to, you know, edit my videos, and hopefully try to get some subscribers to actually subscribe to me. So there's a lot of things I could do. I could write more of a script. I want to have more of a script for my videos. I want to have video editing, have better microphone, better outline of topics, which would be a script, but just so I get better direction and I don't go on tangents, which I'm really good at doing with writing, talking, everything. I'm just really good at going with one conversation, and then it's like, oh, halfway through my story I'm telling you something else that's completely different and doesn't make any sense to my original topic. So there's 5 more minutes of me just talking. But I hope you all have a great day, and I appreciate you watching if you got to minute 35. Thanks.